Welcome to Fun and Affordable Magic the Gathering. I'm Joshua Jones here with you today to bring you limited EDH Series 1, Episode 2. In today's episode, we will be continuing our EDH limited series on guilds. Today's guild is the Boros Legion. Gilded 1 means that, except basic land cards, all cards must contain both guild colors. For Boros, that's going to be red and white, unless the Gilded 2 rule trumps it, and cards may contain only one of the colors if the card contains the guild's name, watermark, or mechanic. So, today I've chosen Agrus Kos, Wojek Veteran. He is a 3/3 human soldier for 3, a red and a white, and he states whenever Agrus Kos Wojek Veteran attacks, attacking red creatures get +2/+0, and attacking white creatures get +0/+2 until end of turn. So essentially, with the exception of about 3 creatures in this deck, all creatures get +2/+2 when attacking. The reason why I chose Agrus Kos Wojek Veteran for the commander is because he is the Boros Legion Guild leader. So moving on, we can see here that this deck runs 30 total creatures including the commander, 20 spells, 3 artifacts, 3 planeswalkers, 6 enchantments, and 38 total lands. Here we have a visual view of the deck in its entirety. And we'll jump straight into it. So, Boros has a number of different options that you could use as the commander, and we've included 10 others in this deck. You could run Iroas, God of Victory, instead. Indestructible as long as you control red and white of Devotion 7. Iroas isn't a creature, but that Devotion is no problem because all of the spells are red and white. Creatures you control have Menace. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. For me personally, I know if I was playing this deck, I would run Iroas, God of Victory. But if you want to keep it guild flavorful, stick with the leader. We also have Bruce Tarl, Boorish Herder. This is a partner commander. We are not running the other partner commander because it requires artifacts and equipments, and because of the restrictions of this build, we do not have a lot of those. 4 others here, including Captain of the Guard, Adriana. This is a melee commander who also gives your other creatures melee. Could be some fun games to switch it out and play her as the commander every now and again. Kalimne, Disciple of Aros, would also be good as a commander. It came in one of the commander precons a couple years ago. Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight, Oriella, the War Leader. 2 more infamous red-white creatures. Then we'll move on to our removal suite. We see here we have Fight to Death. It's a red and a white instant. Destroy all blocking creatures and all blocked creatures. So you're definitely going to want to use this on somebody else's combat when they've declared blockers and there's a bunch of creatures about to get into a big old battle, and you just throw this out there on them and all of their stuff's destroyed. It's kind of like if you're in a 3-player game and somebody's going in for a big attack and somebody's trying to block out, it's pretty much their side of the board white. Then you see we have destroy target blocking creatures that were blocked by that creature. This combat gain trample within a turn, so Ride Down's a good instant to use in cases where you want to get in that damage and surprise them. Basically, get rid of their threat like was probably going to happen in combat anyways, and then still get in for that damage. Here we just have some more attacking or blocking or player damage. One thing about Boros is that the removal when you're playing both colors in every card is a little bit more on the expensive side, but Lightning Heal, it's 3 damage for 2 mana, and the gain 3 life is on average what you would get. And then Arrows of Justice is the same thing, 4 points of damage for 3 mana. X spells are always going to be a little bit more because of the utility that they provide. And then War Leader's Helix. Not great, but just a little extra targeted removal in there. Finally, we have some artifact and enchantment removal, as well as 1 board wipe in Purification, which is going to irritate a lot of people if you resolve it, because it says each player chooses 3 permanents. So permanents meaning that you have to sacrifice all your lands if you don't choose your 3 lands. I know me personally, I'm just going to choose 3 lands. It's a pain in the butt. Moving on to Walkers and Ramp. We're playing a Johnny Vengeant and a Boros Signet. Johnny Vengeant's just great because it can tap something down. Oh, actually, it doesn't tap anything down. It just doesn't allow something to untap. But the -2 is 3 more damage, and then if you ever get that ultimate off on somebody, I'm pretty sure they're just going to scoop. We have Boros Cluestone and Boros Keyrune, trying to ramp out as much as possible. Hotly Warrior Poet made it because the 0 ability just allows you to get a 3/3 every turn if you can keep her around. Also, if you just -3, you could choose 3 different targets and get in with your other creatures without those targets being able to block. And then Nahiri, although you have to discard, has like that rummaging effect that you kind of have to use when you're playing Boros colors. She does some other stuff with the artifacts too, but mainly the rummaging is what we care about here. Next up, we have enchantments. So these enchantments are just going to provide us with some incremental advantage. The first enchantment is Legion's Initiative. Gives you that +1/+0 +0/+1 with the red and white thing that our deck kind of has going on, but this is in the form of an enchantment. And then if you pay a red and a white and you exile Legion's Initiative, you can sort of blink, or I forget what that other word's called. Flicker, I believe is what it's called. When you all your stuff, all your creatures leave, and then they come back later with haste, so you don't have to worry about them being destroyed. And then just a Squeeze Embrace to put on a creature to give it a little buff, and then also just return it to your hand if it was to get removed. We have Gleam of Battle, which puts 1 with counters on your attacking creatures, and another +2/+0/+0/+2 buff. And then we have Rise of Hobgoblins and Goblin Trenches. So Goblin Trenches will allow you to get rid of some lands to get 1/1s later on in the game if you're flooding out. And then Rise of Hobgoblins will, if you're also flooding out, you can just dump a bunch of extra mana into it to get 1/1s when you play it. Next up, we just have some utility spells to round it out, including creatures and instants and sorceries. So Frontline Medic is pretty cool because if you sacrifice it, you can counter a target spell with converted mana cost X, unless the controller pays 3. So it's pretty cool because you don't see counter spells on white cards usually. Bellfire Liege is just because the Liege series, when it comes to any of the guilds, is just really good, given +1/+1/+1/+1. So essentially just +2/+2 permanently, as long as this is out, is really good. And then that other 3 damage to target player and you gain 3 life is a nice little drain. Here we see Legion Loyalist, who can get us in for some trample damage. Little buff on attacking creatures again. Mana Sink and Sun Home Guild Mage, and then Better Motorist to kind of control our next 2 draws. Then we have some more X damage. In Aurelia's Fury, Sight Hysteria will allow us to get in for combat damage with our creatures by making a target creature in all the same colors not be able to block. Radiance is one of the two Boros mechanics. That's why this spell is allowed, even though it is only red. Boros Charm, because we're a Boros deck, and Deflecting Palm, just in case they go in for the Alpha Strike and we just lay back in the cut and then go, no. So the next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you, this turn prevent that damage. If the damage is prevented this way, Deflecting Palm deals that much damage to its source's controller. So if you're playing somebody with a Wall Charm deck or something and they swing in with you, and or they give you like a fireball to the face for like 20 or something, boom, back in their face. Love the art on this card. And then we have our lands. So we're playing 14 mountains and 14 plains, and then 10 other lands to give us 38 lands in total. We've included Sun Home Fortress of Legion. That's the Boros Legion headquarters, if you will. Give a little guy double strike. One creature land, one scry land, and Slayer Stronghold, and then round it out with 6 other comes into play tap lands. That is the Boros Legion limited EDH guild deck for this week. You can pick up this deck at tcgplayer.com for $69.18 as of the recording of this video. And if you want to see the deck list in full, go to MTG Goldfish. It's deck number 846585. With Boros, you want to be getting in there and attacking. So if you play in a play group that, you guys like to have a good time and like let people do their things, well, if you're playing this deck, I suggest that you don't do that. If somebody has an empty board state, you want to be getting in there. Boros is not a, defense, win from card advantage and combo off. Boros is trying to attack. So if you have the opportunity to attack and it's profitable for you, you should be doing that. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.